2025 is the year of the snake, which is all about inner wisdom. And if there's something you've been wanting to shift in your life, well, this is the year to do it. And this energy isn't about bypassing or ignoring what's uncomfortable. It's actually about facing your own crap, especially when it comes to relationships. What makes this snake year hit differently? It's a young wood snake, which means it's got this really powerful, vibrant, upward moving energy mixed with this energetics of a sudden thunderbolt. So the translation, big shifts can happen fast. Whatever energy you're putting out into the world this year, it's going to get amplified. So if you're leading with love, healing, and growth, that's going to ripple. But if you're leaning into fear, control, and scarcity, well, that's going to echo too. So choose wisely, okay? And the world right now, it is chaotic, and that means doing this inner work while managing the energetic noise all around you is going to take a real focused intention. And it's a lot, but it's also really powerful. I want to share with you some of the lessons I've learned from the Tao as it relates to the energetics of relationships, boundaries, and how the presence or absence of your personal boundaries can shape not just your personal life, but the world you're creating around you. Oh, hey, by the way, in May's live HealthHUB members event, we're going to be working together to better listen to our body and what the whispers of our body is sharing with us, and that meaning from ancient classical East Asian medical thought. So let's hang out and see what we can figure out. There should be a link up here in the corner or in the video description below to get to HealthHUB. The month of April looks like this month, it's all about defining prosperity, which is about what we give back to the world. And so for a lot of us, we're saying giving back, oh, that's traditionally meant more time, more energy, more emotional labor. But true prosperity isn't just about constantly pouring out. It's also how we create and protect ourselves, because guess what? Creating a safe, grounded environment for ourselves and the people we love is actually a powerful form of giving. Here's the thing. You can't do that without boundaries. Boundaries, they're not walls. They're actually clarity. They're about what allows us to show up with love without burning out. They're how we sustain our energy so we can keep showing up creatively, spiritually, and emotionally on our own terms. So this month, let's shift the lens. What if prosperity wasn't just about how much you give, but also about how well you protect your peace? This is something I think about a lot. Our emotions, they're a barometer of how well we are protecting our inner peace, especially when we've ignored our boundaries and needs for balance. Our emotions get twisted. And the Tao teaches us that life, it's a stance of opposites. So light and dark, activity and rest, giving and receiving. When we resist this natural rhythm, our emotions become stormy, signaling that we've actually strayed too far from harmony. Our inner peace is found not in controlling every feeling, but allowing these feelings to move through us without resistance. And I want to talk more about allowing emotions to flow through us and that energetic shift in May's live HealthHUB event, because it's part of hearing our whispers. Emotions, they're neither good nor bad. They are simply energy in motion. They're chi. But when we suppress them or ignore or overindulge them, they become distorted, leaving us feeling drained and overwhelmed. So consider this. Anger arises when our boundaries are crossed, yet it can also reveal where we've failed to honor our own limits, where we're doing too much. Anxiety often flares when we resist the natural unfolding of life. So we're trying to force the outcome instead of trusting the Tao's timing. And then there's joy, and that flows freely when we align with what nourishes us. Yet even joy, when we cling on to it too tightly, it creates this fear of loss. So the key is not to judge our emotions, but to listen to them as messengers, because they show us where we're out of balance, where we've given too much or too little, where we've forgotten the sacred art of Wu Wei, effortless action. Take a minute, you can pause this episode and consider how these might be showing up in your life. I know you probably know this. We've probably already all felt this, but the lack of boundaries actually harms us, because when we lack boundaries, we're actually draining our energy or our chi. And in the Tao, our chi, it has to circulate freely in order to keep our vitality. But when we say yes to everyone and everything, we actually hemorrhage energy and we become overwhelmed. And then there's the physical and emotional fatigue of constantly overextending yourself, whether it's at work or in friendships or family obligations. That weakens your resistance. You're pouring too much out of your cup and you have nothing left for yourself. And this one's a big one, because you lose yourself, because without boundaries, you become what others need rather than who you truly are. So, hey, if you're reading the Tao Te Ching, check out chapter 44. It's about the wise person who actually knows when to stop. And what that means is, just as nature has cycles of activity and rest, you are going to start to learn how to honor your limits so that you can preserve your energy. Taoism emphasizes this balance of yin and yang. So if you're only giving without receiving, then resentment is going to fester, because it's not that others are taking too much, but it's that you have not set the container of what you can actually give. So this is going to show up as, those silent bargains, those unspoken expectations. They should know what I need. And, that just leads to a whole lot of disappointment. And the lesson in the Tao is that it flows with clarity and not assumption. You can also see this showing up as emotional leakage, where these unexpressed frustrations, they don't disappear. They actually seep out in a lot of other unhappy ways, like passive aggression, withdrawals, or these sudden outbursts, which completely disrupt the harmony. And the Taoist insight there is kindness without truth is actually not kindness. Wow. Okay. So what's the bottom line? Setting boundaries, it's this act of honesty, not selfishness. So we want to restore balance. And so I've got some practices for you. The first is observing without judgment. So notice when and where you feel drained and resentful. These are clues to where you might need some boundaries. And then start small, like you're a little seedling pushing through the earth. Practice gentle no's or a request for space. Sometimes these boundaries, they've been overstepped for so long, you've become rubbed raw, and it's hard to find a gentle no. Just realize you don't have to be perfect. And that's why we call it practice. Trust the ripple effect, because some people are going to resist boundaries at first, but it's like a pond settling after a stone is dropped in it. It will ultimately recalibrate to a more healthy relationship. Okay, how can you do this? When it comes to boundaries, we're going to often fear that saying no is going to disrupt the harmony or hurt others. But the Tao reminds us clear boundaries are the foundation of authentic connection. So here's some ideas on how to communicate boundaries with wisdom and kindness. I've got 3 Taoist phrases for boundary setting, and you can set these as templates to help soften the resistance to boundaries while still holding firm. So here's the first one. For now, this is what I can do. So, like, for now, I can listen for 10 minutes because that's going to honor what you need while still recognizing the other person. Here's another one. I'm learning to honor my energy. I'm learning to honor my energy, so I won't be able to help this time. So it frames a boundary as growth. It's not rejection. And here's the third one. Let me sit with that and I'll get back with you. That buys you time to check in with your intuition instead of automatically saying yes. So these are phrases that mirror the rhythm of the Tao. They're not too rigid and they're responsive. Okay, I've got one final thought. Boundaries are love. And a Taoist proverb, the best runner leaves no track. So when you set boundaries with compassion, you leave no scars, only a deeper, more respectful, authentic connection. So it's your turn. Which of these phrases feel easiest for you this week? So whatever the phrase is, start there, small steps like drops of water, and eventually you're going to fill your ocean. Until next time, I'll catch you on the other side.